Hi everyone, this is Bobby Zines doing my first live stream for a little while. It looks like Gene Cam was watching a short while ago. Put out a tweet on Twitter to let people know where I was going. This is an advert by Sophology.
Little things, atoms and molecules, textures and elements, the comfort of soft duck feather, the feel of warm, natural leather, the beauty of hand-nailed studs. Coming home can feel special again, because little things make life better. Sophology. Feel at home on a sofa you love.
Curious map. Right, and another Sophology commercial.
Little things, atoms and molecules, textures and elements, the ultimate comfort of edge-to-edge springs, the soft indulgence of deep pile velvet, the elegance of natural wood. Coming home can feel special again, because little things make life better. Sophology. Feel at home on a sofa you love.
Right, that is the advert. And I think it draws some strong links with the story of the Big Bang, if we watch
Little
the start of
things,
it.
Atom.
As it pans out, shows us what we're led to believe space looks like. Certainly looks like a sky full of stars. They compare the wall that they use with the clouds, and they make a lot of comparisons. This, I believe, is a reference to the electromagnetic spectrum we're told about. The sky. And they're suggesting that from a big explosion, incredible creation such as a couch was thrown together randomly. That's more or less the point they're making in both of these videos. And it reminded me of an analogy a teacher once gave us at school, which at the time I didn't hugely understand, but kind of made sense the more I went through life. Now he gave us an analogy that if let's say a holiday maker offered you a chance to be the first person ever to set foot on a desert, on an island that they'd discovered. They'd only just found how to get to this island, and for a huge amount of money, they sold you the chance to be the first human being ever to set foot on this patch of land. So you pay your money, you row a boat on your own to be the first ever person to set foot on this island, and after you run up on the shore, you come across a set of stones which read out, "Welcome." WELCOME, a bit crudely, all with the local stones, pebbles off the beach. And you say, well, this surely proves that someone was here before me, because they've spelt out the word welcome with stones. So you run back to the holiday maker and tell them, look, there's a message on the sand. I can't possibly be the first person to set foot on this island like you sold me. I tell you, no, that you're definitely the first person ever to set foot on that island. And if the stones have made a message, then it's just randomly happened. Those stones just fell into place like that. So you find it a bit hard to believe, but you go back to your island, you paid the money, so you might as well go on there and have a look round. And then you come across a chair, pretty crudely put together. You can see where the tree's been chopped down and the wood's been used and the chair's been put together. So you go back and say, well look, there's definitely someone's been on there because they've been building furniture. And they say, no, that all must have randomly fallen into place. But yeah, the reference the teacher was making was, how far can you say random design can create? So that you have to acknowledge an intelligent creator in all of this. Yeah, I would say I am a believer in God, and I do find that most days, not every day, most days you are given an opportunity where you're tested to see whether you acknowledge your faith that you claim to have or believe you have yourself. I find quite often I'll be amongst the people and one of them will bring up God, bad mouthing it, and it gives me an opportunity to either stay silent, don't say anything, go along with it, go along with the rest of the group who are kind of agreeing that the idea of God is ridiculous? Or do I challenge what they're saying? Now, sometimes it's easiest just to keep your mouth shut, but there's frequently a challenge put before me where I'm given a chance to say whether or not I believe in God. I try most days, quite often, to kind of pass that test that I believe given to me. Yeah, by showing your loyalty to God, I believe he shows it back to you throughout the rest of the day, throughout the life. You've just got to pass those little tests when they come to you. I am over on Twitter now. I did see someone put a Bible verse, quite a chilling one when you read it. I believe it was in Deuteronomy. Bear with me, I'll see if I can find it. Right, I believe I found somewhere along the passageway. There are things you read which out of context sound quite terrible. I'll just say hello to Mudlark digging up the Thames. Thanks for joining us. I'm not sure of the exact phrase. It came up and it sounded terrible to read it. It was something along the lines of if a slave, if a master, and maybe a Jewish master, I'm not sure, or any master, beats their slaves so bad that they die, they should be punished. But if they only beat them bad enough that they get back up after a few days, they're fine because it's that person's possession. It sounded awful to read it out of context. And someone else referenced another pretty terrible phrase where I think it's the King of Egypt is given demands that pregnant women be murdered, or but this is just something about if a men are fighting and hurt a pregnant woman so that she loses her child, but she is not injured in any other way. The one who hurt her is to be fined whatever amount the woman's husband demands. A lot of laws on death here. Eamon Pudama, thanks for joining. What was the desert island analogy? It reminded me of an intelligent design arguments, read biology and DNA. It may well be the same one. Like I said, I was given it when I was at school by one of our teachers. It made a good bit of sense. I don't know if anyone out there heard it. You can skip back. It is, just a reference to ending up on what supposedly is an island that no man's ever been on, and finding a message, or finding furniture, or finding stuff that are like infinitely less difficult to put together than something like a human. The air, water, the trees, and everything around us, and all our food and all our dietary requirements. And yet we're all perfectly provided for by what grows around us. So if something as complex as that is being put together, how can you say that came from a random Big Bang? That is the analogy, I believe. I haven't heard it referenced to DNA though, or biology. But if Eamon wants to share something in the live chat, he can. You saw the Sophology commercials that I first put on, and how closely they are to stories with design. I'll play it maybe one more time.
Little
to
things.
break it down a bit.
Atoms and molecules, textures and elements,
Right, these are
the comfort of soft duck feather, the feel of warm, natural leather, the beauty of hand-nailed studs. Coming home can
this is when you think about the argument of a big explosion creating us and everything being thrown together, is what they're suggesting can happen. Tommy Lynch, thanks for joining us. How are you? I appreciate it. There's always the same few that always turn up to my live streams, and a few of them are already with us now. Mudlark says, getting rid of capital punishment for murder was an act against God. Yeah, interesting. In the verse in Exodus, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for a hand, foot for a foot. And they also reference someone over here. But if a serious injury results, then you must require a life for a life. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, burn for burn. I always find the Bible, I'm not hugely familiar with Exodus. You would guess from the name it's about the Jews' making an exodus from Egypt. I'm not sure. I did try reading through the Bible from cover to cover a few years back, but a lot of it is difficult to get your head around if you don't understand the referring to. Take a Nephilim, for example. Now, the first time if I read a Nephilim in the Bible, the Nephilim, if I'd seen that word back when I first tried reading it, I would have put it down as someone from a place called Nephil, or Nephilim, or I wouldn't have understood what a Nephilim was. If you're not familiar with them, they were the creation of, the offspring of angels with humans, and they gave birth to all sorts of crazy things. So also when you read in the Bible, like I said, I couldn't find it in my last search, but when you read about, murdering pregnant women and stuff, who knows what they were pregnant with. For example, I wouldn't have known that when reading that sentence, which I wouldn't have understood the context that we were talking about people that may have been pregnant with a Nephilim. Okay, yeah, there was other subjects I wanted to touch upon. I'm not sure any of you have heard about demonstrations across the country. It's a word I don't even want to bring up, really. You cannot avoid hearing it, and it's Brexit. I hate that word so much, because it's a made-up word that means nothing. I mean, who invented Brexit? Why is that being used as a whole national movement now? It's ridiculous. I'll just read the links. The comments. Mudlark, haven't seen most of your recent videos. I need to catch up. They basically covered football hoaxes, pretty much. The last one I did was, pitch invasions, where 3 footballers were targeted. That was the last one I did. Crazy how quickly the punishment was handed down for some of those people. Are we familiar with the Jack Grealish and Chris Smalling and the Rangers captain were all accosted on the pitch by invaders, and they made a big deal about how someone could be stabbed, and then a week later Monica Seles comes up in the news. All very weird. Eman, basically the ID argument is that a written sentence displays specific. It conforms to it. Yeah, thank you, Eman. And neither chance or any law of nature could account for it. The intelligent design prevents that biological form, and also DNA also displays specific complexities. Of course it does, Eamon, I totally agree. I mean, I know nothing about DNA and not a huge amount about biology either, but certainly in the things around us you can see a complexity that couldn't possibly come up. Eamon, I agree with them. I agree also. Mudlark, so a renter mob being paid to protest. Maybe. I know someone that supposedly I was going to go along to one of them. It is rent a mob, but they also turn it into a social event almost, a gathering of people where all of who have had the words idiot stamped on their forehead for believing that attending a protest could change anything. And often protests are always controlled by the very people who are carrying out the thing that people are protesting against. I remember the library in Bath got shut down. They did a planned demonstration outside the council office, and I believe they actually started by coming out of the council office, so it's the people inside it that were doing the protest, probably the people losing their jobs. Ask yourself why their placards are mass produced. I don't doubt that. I was going to look at one of the articles from demonstrations actually. Mudlark, it's the government trying to find a way of getting away from us never leaving the EU. Obviously not every one of them are a renter mob. No, people, now I'm sure it does, of course it starts with a renter mob, I agree with you on that, and then people follow along. I mean, you can see the renter mob here. How many flags did they sell this day, on this day where they, I mean, if that was genuinely a individual separate from the whole mainstream argument, because they of course control both sides of that, how did he manage to get the same press people to follow him around and to publicise his march and everything? Do we want to hear the nonsense that they talk? I really don't, because it's so much rubbish. It's almost unbearable to hear it, but if you want a...
What has happened this week is not only a national humiliation, and believe you me, I was there in Brussels.
How fake is that?
The way the rest of Europe, the world is now looking at our nation, but it is an outright betrayal, because Mrs May now tells us we're not leaving next Friday, despite telling us over 100 times that we would be, despite putting a piece of law in place, supported by 500 MPs. But
all a bunch of actors, definitely. Mrs May. We have another article. This one might have been about the protests, I believe. See, look at all these people turning out. Take any single one of them and ask them, so what was the deal that they didn't vote for the other day? I bet none of them could tell you anything. Yeah, thanks Tommy Lynn. Yeah, well, there was also something about the M4 being shut down. I'll pop a quick ad in there before we give you this crucial news.
3, 2, 1.
What a joke. What they even oh, this is mad. Yeah, I hope no one would ever attend a protest like this believing that alter anything, because it's a load of... I will be editing this video up, and is any of those that are catching up, any terrible protests going on in your areas? Like I say, on the M4 we had apparently lorries going up to a standstill, which caused mass annoyance for everyone around. Anyone come across any major hoaxes lately that they think worthy of my attention? I've followed the news so rarely that obviously there was a big one in Christchurch, but I'm not even going there. Tommy Lynch, you're always full of really good information. I take it you're some sort of photographer? Have you ever photographed a phony fake event? What sort of things do you photograph, Tommy? I'd be interested if you're happy to share that.
Textures and elements. Comfort of...
There we go, the big bang, the big explosion of feathers.
Elements.
Comfort
Comfort of soft dust.
That is what they claim happened at the beginning. Everything was sucked into a tiny molecule or something, and then it all exploded. Cider Eyes joined us. China chemical blast explosion looked a bit dodgy to me, Bobby. The initial numbers in that especially not something I've looked into. When did that recently happen? I used to do lots of protest work. That's interesting. Did you take part in them, the protests as well? Or were you working for a news organisation? Cider Eye 322 it happened. Okay, that's typical, isn't it? Chemical blast, a China chemical blast. I'll have a look for it. Of course, it's on BBC, CNN. I wonder if it's copyright or something, so they're not going to let me use it. They certainly wouldn't let me have any audio. Right, CNN. We've covered explosions before, haven't we? Big fires. And from what I remember, it got me taken down. It got my stream shut down.
A powerful blast rips through an industrial park in eastern China. The deadly explosion followed a fire at a pesticide factory in Yangcheng City in Jiangsu province. The video posted on Twitter shows the massive fire. The blast shattered windows in nearby homes and injured more than 24 people, including children. Witnesses also report seeing injured workers running from the burning factory. And China's earthquake administration reported a 2.2 magnitude quake at the time of the blast. Public anger has grown in China over the lack of safety standards after a string of deadly industrial incidents in recent years. China's Work Safety Administration reported 13 safety problems at this pesticide factory after an inspection last year. In November 2018, an explosion near a factory in northern China killed at least 23 people. And in August of 2015, a series of explosions rocked a container storage facility in the port city of Tianjin. The cause of Thursday's disaster remains under investigation. Michael Holmes, CNN.
Yeah, one thing I thought was very suspect. Of course, the numbers are coming up. As you said, 23 killed, did I hear? This bit.
And China's earthquake administration reported a 2.0 injured workers running from the burning factory. And China's earthquake administration reported a 2.2 magnitude quake
this
at the time of the blast.
Doesn't happen.
Public anger has grown in China over the...
You don't see that. If you've got ambulance people working on injured and dead people, you don't get someone standing around getting in the way.
Lack of safety
Look at
standards.
that. You stand right in front of the people trying to take this guy away. No, doesn't happen. And then just really preserve this guy's dignity.
After a
okay?
string of deadly
Look, okay, well, even filming getting put in an ambulance.
industrial incidents in recent years.
Right in there.
China's Work Safety Administration reported 13 safety problems at this pesticide factory after an inspection last year. In November 2018, an explosion near a factory in northern China killed at least 23 people. And in
They killed at least 23 people. Of course, what I would guess is they want to reconstruct the area, they want to rebuild it, so they need a reason to destroy it. And in the past they've used wars, bomb the shit out of the place, so that they can then rebuild everything. And this time they're using chemical explosions. So they've got plenty of methods for clearing an area when they decide the time is right to rebuild it. Cider Eye, it could be real. There's very little about 13 safety problems. yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there which have a better understanding and a better way of spotting these numbers than I do. For me, it's the actions that when you see the clearly put together, clearly constructed, like dash to the ambulance and the big explosions perfectly caught, different subjects, obviously helicopters caught perfectly on camera on fire, and all sorts of other made up videos that we get given and then convinced that it's reality. I like to think there's some of us out there who can see it for a phony fake show, which it is. There are definitely people out there, a lot of great video makers. I think, what was it, a couple of weekends ago, really beautiful day like it is today. I wasted it watching Liverpool against Everton, I think, some really dull game, which was where the score was already probably pre-planned. Yeah, it's one of the kind of worst things you can do on a nice sunny day, spend it indoors watching a terrible game. Maybe outdoors at the game, but as we see, even that isn't free from their made up stuff, because they'll chuck that in every. You'd pay to go and watch a Premier League football matches, the prices they pay, perhaps you would think, well, shouldn't this get me onto the grass pitch? Doing that will not guarantee you that you get your face on the back of the newspapers by Monday. You will not overnight become a celebrity because you ran onto a football pitch. Doesn't happen. So you guys know what I'm going with that. Thanks to all of those that joined us. Slider, Tommy Lynch, Eamon Pudama, a made up name, read backwards, I remember that. Cider Eye, Dawn, hello Dawn. I didn't see you back now. Thanks if you've been following. Yeah, apologies for not saying hi earlier, Dawn. I didn't see your comment. Mudlark, Eamon Pudama, and Jean Cam was the first one to pop in and say hi, but we haven't heard anything else since from her. But hopefully she's stuck around and watched. Cider Eye, you're most welcome. I'll bring some videos back again. I really appreciate you guys that did turn up for this live stream. It's great being able to interact with viewers. As for anyone, if you really desperately need to, I'm also on Twitter, like I say. I'll bring up my Twitter page, if any of you are on there. Yeah. Okay, we're going to sign out with this beautiful picture. Alright, have a great weekend everyone, enjoy the nice weather. Get out there, I certainly am. Take care everyone.